Welcome back. In this lesson, we are going to learn a new data type in Python. It's also an advanced data type, but it's different from any data type we discussed so far, which is a dictionary. So what is a Python dictionary? As I said, it's not like anything we discussed so far. It's a key value pair data structure, and we will understand exactly what do we mean by that when we go to the code and in just a moment, okay? It can be indexed, but with its keys, right? So for each key in the dictionary, we have some values. So in order to get these values, we use the key, okay? So we index using the key, and we will see this. And you need also to understand that keys are unique. So for each key, it's different from all the other keys. The values can be duplicated, they can be repeated, but the keys need to be unique. Also, dictionaries don't have order. So we don't really have 0, 1, 2, 3. We cannot index the first values for the first key by using 0, as we will see, okay? So we cannot really use index number 0, index number 1, index number 2. We index using the keys. So how to create Python dictionaries? We use the curly brackets and a colon, okay? So this is an example. Here we are creating this dictionary by using the curly bracket to differentiate the dictionary from all the other data types, okay? So as you can see, we use these curly brackets and we use the colon, right? So the element before the colon is the key, and the element after the colon are the values. So as we see here, we have the first key is 1, and the values for this key is 2. And the second key is Ahmed, and the elements or the values for Ahmed is 4. And we have 2.3, this is the third key, and the values for this key is in fact a list, okay? So if we want to get the values for any of the keys, we use something like this. So if we run this example, you will see that we have a syntax error. Why? Because we don't have a key called 4, okay? And if we use print mydect 0, you will see also that we have an index error, or we have a syntax error, because we don't really have a key called 0, okay? So when we go to the code, we will understand this even better. So how to check for key existence? How to know if a key exists or not? So here we have the same dictionary, and we are using the in operator to see or to know if we have 1 in our dictionary or not. So this will print either true or false based on if we have this key or not, okay? So in this case, we will see that we have true, okay? Now, what if we want to get the values of a specific key without getting an error? We use the get function, and we will understand and discuss all the functions in dictionaries when we go to the code. But for now, let's understand the most important function, which is the get function. So in this case, we have the same dictionary. So we access the functions as we said before using the dot operator, right? And we have a function called get, and we call the function using the circular brackets just like this. And here, the input for this function is the key that we want to search for its elements, okay? So if we use print mydect.get1, it will return 2, right? Because we have a key called 1, and the values for this key is 2. But now if we print mydect.get and then we give it 2, we don't have a key equal 2, right? So this will print none. It will print nothing. It will not give you a syntax error. It will not give you an error at all. So this will not stop your code, and the code will continue just fine. So if you want to get the values of a specific key, if this key exists, then we use the get function, okay? Now, what if we have repeated keys? What if the keys are not unique? We said that the keys need to be unique. So what if they are not unique? In this case, this example as we see here, we have 1 and its value is 2, and then we have another key value pair and then we have the key here is 1, so it's the same key as here, but the values for this key now is A, 5, and 2.1. So we have a list as the value for this key, right? Now, if we print my dictionary, this will not throw an error, right? It will overwrite with the latest key value. So if we print it, you will see that we have Ahmed 4 and we have 1 with this list. Okay, so it will overwrite with the latest key value. So if we have another key here called Ahmed and the value for Ahmed is 1, for example, then if we print the value for Ahmed, we will not see 4 and 1, we will not see 4, we will see 1, because this is the latest key value. Okay, so this is everything for this lesson. Let's go to the code and see how we can implement all this stuff and how to understand even more functions that we have in the dictionary. So let's go. So here we are inside Google Colab. First, what is a dictionary? As we said, it's a key value pair data structure, and we initialize a dictionary by curly brackets, and we have key value pairs, right? Key and then values, key and then values, and so on. So here we created an empty dictionary called grocery dictionary. So if we now print the grocery dictionary, right? If we now print grocery dictionary, right? And after that we print grocery or type of grocery dictionary, you will see that we have empty dictionary, right? Just like this. And after that we see that we have the class is dictionary. Now let's populate this dictionary with some values. So here we have melon 2 and then apple 3 and then strawberry 5. So what we are doing here is that we want to have like a grocery list, and we want to say, or we want to know how many melons we want, how many apples we want, how many strawberry we want. So we just inserted some elements, and as you can see we have 2 for the melon, 3 for the apple, and 5 for the strawberry. So if we print the dictionary right now, you will see that we have melon 2, apple 3, strawberry 5. And the class is of course dictionary. So the data type for this specific variable is dictionary. So what is the output of the following? Now, if we print, right, if we print grocery dect 3, right, you will see that we have an error saying key error 3. So this means we don't really have a key called 3. What if we print strawberry dect 0? In a list or with a list concept, you should have 2, right? Or you should have melon 2, right? But this is not the case here. You will see that we also have a key error saying that we don't really have a key equal to 0. So in order to access 2, for example, we need to specify here, right, index using the key. So if we just insert melon here, you will see that we have 2. If we insert apple here, you will see that we have 3. Strawberry, you will see that we have 5. So we access the values using their keys. Okay. So what if we have keys that are not unique? This is what we saw in the lesson, right? Now we have melon 2, apple 3, strawberry 5, and then we have apple again 10. Now if we print this variable, you will see that we have melon 2, apple 10, right? Because this is the latest value for this key value, right? This is the latest value for this key. This key called apple is first 3 and then it was 10. So we overwrite with the latest value. So we have apple 10, okay? So it will overwrite with the latest key value. Now how to check if a key exists or not? We use the N operator. So if we want to check if we have a key called 1, then we will just print 1 in grocery dect, right? If we insert 2 here, you will see that we have false because we don't have a key equal to 2. But if we put here melon, you will see that we have true, and so on. So if you want to check if a key exists or not, we use the N operator. But as you might have noticed, this doesn't really give you the values for this key. So if we want to get the values of a specific key without getting an error, we use the get function, right? So here, if we want to get the values of a specific key called 3, if this key exists, then we will have its values. But if this key doesn't exist, it will return none. So it will return nothing, okay? So the code will not stop. It will not throw an error in your face, okay? So if we insert here melon, you will see that we have 2. So it will return the values of this key if this key exists, and if this key doesn't exist, then it will return nothing. It will not stop. Now, what are the dictionary functions? As you can see here, I am referring to Python official documentation. So if we go to the Python official documentation, you will see that we have this web page on dictionaries, okay? And you can read everything about dictionaries here, understand every single detail we are discussing. Of course, this can be a little bit complicated if I didn't give you the introduction and give you everything you need to understand first. Okay, so if you need to understand more about dictionaries or see more examples on dictionaries, then it's better to start from the official documentation after understanding everything in the lessons. Okay, so let's go back. Also, I wanted to give you a small tip here, is that how you can auto-complete your code. So for example here, if you check, you will see that if I am writing grocery, you will see that we have grocery underscore dect, right? And if I just write dot, you will see all the functions that I have for the dictionary. And for every single function, we have the documentation for this function opening up, right? So how to do all this stuff? You can enable it by default from here. If you go to tools and then settings, you will see in the editor, we have here automatically trigger code completions. If you check this, you will see that whenever you write code, you have this option enabled. But if you didn't automatically enable this, then you need to just press Control and space at the same time, or Command and space at the same time using Mac for auto completion. So how I know about this? Basically, I went over Stack Overflow. So what is Stack Overflow? Stack Overflow is a very powerful, very popular website for all developers, for all programming languages. You can ask a question there or search for a specific question there, and you'll find experts in this field asking and answering all the questions that you might have in mind, okay? So this question was asked 2 years ago, and as you can see here, is it possible to have autocomplete in a notebook in Google Colab? So this is the specific question we had in mind, and as you can see, it was viewed by 19,000 people, right? And it was active 6 months ago, right? And this is the question itself, some tags to help people searching for questions to answer, and this is the number of upvotes this question got, okay? And here, the true power of Stack Overflow, the answers, okay? So as you can see here, yep, press Control space or Command space on Mac, and autocomplete suggestion will appear. Okay, so this is how I know about this. I searched for this myself, and then I found the answer, and now I'm giving you the answer. Okay, and this is not the only answer, but this is the accepted answer. So this is the accepted answer from the person who asked the question, right? The question owner. And you can see also that there is other solutions or other answers for this specific question. Okay, so this is a quick overview about Stack Overflow and how you can search for yourself, and how you can understand, how you can read the questions and read the answers. Now let's go back. Here we have the first function for dictionary called the clear function. So here we have the same dictionary. Now if we use the clear function, it doesn't take any input, right? But if you use the clear function, what it will do is that it will remove all the keys and all the values from the dictionary. So it will return the same dictionary, but now it's empty. Okay. The other function, or the second function that you can use, is the copy function. So if you want to create a copy from this specific dictionary for any specific use case, you can use the copy function, right? It doesn't take any input also, and it will return a copy of the dictionary. Okay. We have also another function called from key. Okay, so here we have the same dictionary as before, right? Now, if we want to get from keys, right, so this function, what it will return a new dictionary with keys from iterables and values equal to value. So what it will basically do, now we give it a list of keys or only a specific key, right? Here we give it melon and apple, these the two keys we want, and for each key we want these values. We want to replace the previous values with these values. So now we have melon 0 and 1 and apple also 0 and 1. If we want 0, 1, 5, for example, you will see that we have melon, its values are now 0, 1, 5, and apple, its values are 0, 1, 5 also. And if you notice, it will return a new dictionary. So the original dictionary, if we print grocery dect, you will see that we have the same dictionary as before. We didn't really modify the original dictionary. We just got some keys from this dictionary and we assigned new values for this keys. Okay. Now we have also another function called item. So it will basically return like a tuple of all the key value pairs. It will return melon2 in a tuple and another tuple that contains apple 10 and a third tuple that contains strawberry 5. We have another function. I think this is the last function we want to highlight because there is, as you can see, a lot of functions, and you need to go to the documentation and understand and learn about them yourself, right? Because I cannot give you all the functions, I cannot discuss all the functions, but when we go to the machine learning part and when we go to the data science part of the course, you will see that sometimes we need specific function here to do specific use case. So this is how you learn more Python and how you will learn more to become a better programmer. So the keys function will return the keys, right? So it's pretty simple, it's pretty basic. It will just return a list containing all the keys that you have in the dictionary. So I want to give you also a small exercise how you can loop through dictionaries. Okay, so this is the dictionary, and as you might notice, we have apple 3 and apple 10, right? So the actual dictionary contains only one apple and its value will be 10. So for the first iteration we will have melon 2, the second iteration we will have apple but 10 not 3, and the third iteration we have strawberry 5. So how we can do this? If you remember, we said that we have a function called items in the dictionary, right? And this items function return a tuple containing in the first index the key, and in the second index it will return the values. So for example, if I have here instead of 2, if I have 2, 3, you will see that we have melon. This is the first element in the tuple, and the second element in the tuple, or the second index in the tuple, we have the list, right, which is the values for this specific key. So we have melon and we have the values for this specific key. Okay, now if we want to iterate over the value key pairs, we can use the items function, and the items function for each iteration, it will return a specific tuple, right, in order. So it will return first the first tuple, and we can have, as you can see here, 4kv. So the first index in the tuple will be the key, and the second element in the tuple will be the values, right? So if we just change this to be 3, 1, for example, you will see if we print, we have the first key is melon and its values are 3, 1, right? And the second key is apple and we have the value to be 10 and not 3 as we discussed. And finally we have a strawberry and 5. So this is a small use case or a small application for the functions that we have in the dictionary. Sometimes we want to loop over the key value pairs, so the best way to do this is using the items function and just return for each iteration the key and the value. Okay, so this is all the things you need to understand in order to get started with the dictionary. And as you will see, dictionaries are very, very important when we go To machine learning, when we go to the data science part, when we go to the libraries, you will see that dictionaries are very, very important. So in the next lesson, we will understand, or we will discuss the final data type that we have in Python, or the advanced data type we have in Python, which is sets. So let's go to the sets. It should be a very short video and it will not contain that much details. So let's go.